Alright guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I got a little something different for you guys. It's not a four-wheeling video, it's not a video about my dogs, it's actually a video about my GoPro. And the reason why I have it wrapped in a white towel is because black runs on black, so you guys can see it easier. So, we're going to talk about what I got with my GoPro. So, I have my lens protectors. I will put all of those in the description. I'll hold them up so you guys can see them. They're like the little lenses. I got the wipes for them so you can clean off the screen easier. I got my mic adapter for the GoPro. I just recently got this. I got my external mic for the GoPro for four-wheeling. Let's see. And we got the GoPro here. This is by far the best GoPro that they made, honestly. This is going to be a settings review for the GoPro, so I will show you my settings. And I recently just did these, so my past videos, if they look bad, that's the auto quality. But this video, I will post some videos of this probably in a couple weeks or so, because I have not had a chance to go four-wheeling. So that is everything in this package. Oh, I forgot to say, I got the replacement side door, so the USB-C is open and you can see it. I'll hold that up a little bit for you guys there. Because the other side door here, that is, it doesn't have it exposed, so I don't like that either. But we're gonna go ahead and start the settings review on the GoPro Hero 9. Alright guys, let's jump into the review of this camera. Your little red top button here is going to be your record button, and this is going to be your side door. You can go ahead and pop that off. I'll show you. Your battery is going to be here, and your SD card is going to be located right next to it. And then your USB-C is for all your mic adapters or your rapid charging for the USB-C. Back screen and front screen. And this little button here, you press the power on, and it will power on itself in a couple seconds. So you don't have to be worried if it takes a couple seconds for it to power on. Let's start with the video settings. So the video settings, the biggest three ones that everyone uses is standard, activity, and cinematic. So you can customize each one of these to what you want. Personally, I use cinematic. Don't really matter which three of those you use. Just make sure you don't use time-lapse or slow-mo. And let you guys know, this touchscreen is horrible. So to customize the settings on whichever one you pick, go ahead and click that little pencil, and then you're gonna pull up the whole settings panel for this. Alright, so let's get started with resolution and FPS. Alright, so I'm going to explain what each one of these does and to your personality. Okay, so 5K at 30 FPS, it's going to be your best quality video that you can get. That's what I personally run. I have really nothing else to talk about. 5K. If you want, you can use 5K at 24 FPS, which is going to give you a little more smoothness than 5K at 30. 4K, which is going to be your second option right there. Go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, you added 60 FPS too. So 4K at 60 FPS is kind of what your iPhone 11 Pro and your iPhone 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max, and 11 Pro Max are going to record at. They are going to record at that, and that's going to be like the same quality. The GoPro will be like the same quality as the iPhone if you have it set at that. 30 and 24, I wouldn't really highly recommend using those because they are a little bit lower of frame rates for 4K, so you're going to get a little bit, your camera's going to be struggling a little bit because it's not going to be as responsive. Also, just leaving you heads up, make sure your computer is capable of editing 5K at 30, 24, 4K at 60, 30, or 24. 2.7K, that's the point where you're going to start messing up your camera, and no one uses 2.7K, so just do not mess with 2.7K. Okay. see me arguing with this touchscreen for hours. 1080p, so it's 1920 by 1080 is the native resolution, and 1080 is one of the options with the GoPro Hero 9. So obviously I do not use 1080 because I don't like it too much unless you're using slow-mo. And you can see that you added 2 more options here: 240, 120, 60, 30, and 24. Those are the options for the 1080. If you use 240 at 1080p, you will get your ultimate slow-mo in your editing software. If you do decide to edit it and put it in slow-mo, you will get your ultimate slow-mo, but you need to make sure that your computer can handle ultimate slow-mo. For example, I have a 2080 Ti and 128 gigabytes of RAM and an i9. That's pretty much very capable of messing with this, so I wouldn't have to worry if you have anything more or if you have that, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Okay, we're gonna struggle with this editing software for hours now. Okay, so let's move on to lenses. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different lenses options. This is another part that is very important on the camera, so let's go ahead and get started with that. Lenses, I have it set at linear plus horizon leveling. Horizon leveling plus linear is going to give you your whole picture at a flat like photo. So it's gonna, if you want to get like the sunrise, it's gonna give you like the sun coming up over the horizon. It's not just gonna give you the sun, so it's gonna give you the whole thing. With any other settings, like, let's see here, narrow is going to give you just if you want to focus on like a butterfly or a cricket and a grass pile, or your in your grass or mulch or whatever. That's what narrow is going to be for. Wide is going to be if you want to get the whole landscape at a higher resolution, so kind of a stretched out view. I'm having a little bit of problems with this touchscreen now. Why? Like I said, it's a 16 to 34 millimeter lens. Super view. Super view is going to give you the whole view of what you're looking at. I don't like it at all because it stretches it out to like 3440 by 1080, which is just so stretched, it's ridiculous. That's why I personally don't use super view. I use linear plus horizon leveling. Linear is also an option, but I don't really like that one too much. So we're gonna try and set it back to linear and horizon leveling. So that is the settings for my camera so far. I don't know why it got set to 1080 at 30. I clicked 5K. All right. You're going to see me arguing with this touchscreen this whole time. So far we have the resolution and lenses done. Now we're going to hop on to the Hyper Smooth 3.0 camera setting. Alright, so you got 3 options for Hyper Smooth 3.0. Boost is if your camera is vibrating like this, or let me give you a better option like this, it's gonna stay flat and it's not gonna look like this, like the camera's actually moving. It's just gonna stay flat. So, which is an awesome option. I think you should keep it on boost. You also got on. On is also a good option, but it's not going to give you as much stabilization, and it is going to crop your wide lens by 10%, which would not be cool. Because if you're trying to get the yacht, like the whole yacht on the ocean, and you crop it by 10%, which is about a foot or two of the photo, you'd only be getting that much of the yacht, which would not look cool. And the last option is off, but personally, leave it on boost, and I think it automatically puts it on. Just go ahead and turn that on boost. We're gonna go ahead and go on schedule capture. Schedule capture means that if you want to get a video of the moon when it comes out at night and you're not going to be home, you can set your GoPro up and turn it on schedule capture and shut your camera off, or leave it on if you want, and you can have it plugged into the wall so where it's charging at all times. You can have it where it will set off at that exact time and get your picture or video of the moon, which is awesome. I like. You got options. You got AM, PM, and 24-hour time, and then you would slide this little slider down to on, and then you can go ahead and select your time. But I leave it off because I don't use that. All right, let's move on to the next setting. Duration. It's the one under lenses. And I click on duration. Duration means it's going to be how long you want your video to be. If you want your video to be 15 minutes long, then set it at 15 minutes and it will stop recording at 15 minutes. If you want it 3 hours long, then you're going to have to leave it on no limit and personally shut it off itself by pressing that red button again when you want to finish your video. I think there's options all the way up to 2-3 hours, but I don't like that, because if I want to record four-wheelers and my battery lasts 6 hours, and then I'm going to want to get that whole 6 hour the whole 6 hours of four-wheeling. So duration, just leave that at no limit. I'll give you that a minute for you guys. Give that you guys a minute to copy that down. No limit. All right, guys, got that? All right, so hindsight. It's the one under hyper smooth boost. Capture videos with hindsight off. Your video will start when the shutter button is pressed. What that means is your videos will, when it's off, your videos will start automatically when the shutter button is pressed. And the shutter button is that little red button up there when you start recording. And I personally hate that. On, because then your shutter is going to be flickering on and off and it just looks really bad. So leave it off. Do not mess with hindsight. Let's try and get out of there now. All right, let's go ahead and scroll. Oh my god. Okay, all right, there we go. Timer. That is going to be like the same thing as scheduled capture. It's going to be that little option there. You can have, it's kind of like scheduled capture, just different. So like if you want to take a family photo and you decide to set your camera like this and you want to walk away from it, you would press that little red button up there after you select it on 3 seconds or 10 seconds, walk to wherever you want to get your photo or video and press it, and then 10 seconds you get to your place, and then 10 seconds it will eventually take the photo. But I leave it off because I do not use it. Zoom, do not mess with zoom. It is at 1.0. I can show you a quick clip right now actually if you turn the zoom up, what it will do. All right, now I'm focusing on my mouse, so I'm starting to zoom in just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and set my camera back down on the table. Starting to zoom in just a little bit, and now we're at max zoom. So that's kind of what the zoom option does, and I do not like that unless you want to get the whole photo of, like something that's tiny and you want to zoom in. All right, guys, so I thought that would help you guys out with the whole zoom thing, understanding what it means. That was actual footage with the GoPro, so I hope that helped you guys out a little bit. Pro Tune. This is the part where you're really going to have to pay attention, and I'm going to go ahead and leave it on each setting for about 15 seconds each, so you can really get the idea down of which one is. Bitrate. Bitrate, leave it at standard, because if you have it on higher, it's gonna make these little boxes everywhere across your screen. It would just be tiny little boxes across your screen like that. And it would look really, really bad. It's the same thing as pixels, but for GoPro, it's bitrate. Shutter, I leave that on auto, because if you mess with your shutter, you're gonna have a really messed up video or photo on whatever you do, and you should automatically let your GoPro set to what you think it should be. So GoPro does an awesome job with doing that. So just leave that alone and do not mess with that at all. If you are a professional photographer or video editor, then go ahead and turn on whatever you want, but I don't think a lot of people aren't. That's why I think you should just leave it on auto, because it's a lot easier too. You'll spend 10 hours in your editing software working on something that GoPro already does it for you. EV comp is the exposure value compression of your photos and videos. Alright, so what I mean by that is your EV comp. If you want your if you want your photos or videos brighter, then you go ahead and turn that all the way up. If it's a really cloudy day, then you turn it all the way up. If you want it really dark like that, if it's a really sunny day. But I keep it on 0, but you're supposed to change that every single time you go take a video, because it depends on the day. Like outside, we got a really, really cloudy day, and personally, I mean, it's about to start snowing, so I would probably turn it all the way up. It's so cloudy out. I mean, the sky is so cloudy, you know, it's so dark. It's just, you need to turn it like all the way up. It's just gonna give you your brighter view. But I personally leave it on 0, because if you leave it on 0, it's kind of automatic, and GoPro does do a good job of doing that. Let's go here in white balance. White balance is going to set your color tone of your photos and videos. So you swipe all the way up, it's going to be a reddish, yellowish. Start swiping down, it's going to be a bluish. Native is going to be really ugly, and I leave it on auto because GoPro does do a awesome job with keeping it on, you know, like keeping it, I don't know like how to explain it. If like the tree's really green, then it's gonna put it on automatic, and it's gonna make it like a little bit brighter but yet darker. But if you do mess with that, you are gonna get some bad quality if you don't know what you're doing with that. So I would recommend leave it on auto, because GoPro does an awesome job with it. ISO minimum, let's go ahead and jump into that. Oh my god. Come on, please. Alright. ISO minimum. The ISO minimum value is set at 100 because I want the GoPro to range on what the video quality they can get. Because if you set it all the way higher and then you set it all the way high on the maximum, you're not going to have, the GoPro's not going to get a range to, you know, really, how do I explain it? Like a range, like it's bright out and dark out. If you set it all the way high, then it's going to be so bright it's ridiculous. If you set it all the way low and set it all the way low on max, then it's going to be so dark it's ridiculous. So I like to set it on 100 for minimum and 6400 for maximum. So you can really, ISO max, so you can really get the whole configuration out of your GoPro, because I can differ in between. Oh my god, this touchscreen. Sharpness. We're going to go ahead and focus on sharpness now. Sharpness, with all of these video settings that I'm using now, you got to have your sharpness on high. Because if you have it on medium or low, it's kind of like, it's going to screw up your edges and it's going to look really weird. So I have it on high. And if you have your sharpness too low, it's going to box. If like you have a rounded edge like that, it's going to make it like a box. Which is really, really stupid. Alright, this is something very, very important that I'm going to spend a little bit of time on for you guys, probably 10-15 seconds, and talk about it. Oh, my mouth is hurting from talking. This is what, how long is this? This is about a 28-minute clip. Wow. Capture photos and videos with the standard GoPro color correction profile. I have color set at GoPro, so it automatically does everything itself. Unless you're the best photo or video editor, then you go ahead and turn it on flat, which is your second option, and it's going to go ahead and give you a variety of options that you can do in your video editing software to change the colors and everything. But GoPro does an awesome job of being able to change, you know, like color to color. It's like if you got a brown, it's gonna make it a brown, and it's gonna look really good. Because if you leave it on flat, then you have to do all of the, the editing software. You have to do it all in the editing software yourself, which is really, really hard. I already tried it. Raw audio is going to be set on high so you can get your best quality audio out of your external mic or your GoPro mic, which I recommend leaving it on high, and it's not going to affect the battery any bit. Wind I leave on off so you cannot hear the wind at all. Just that's wind. I do not like it because if my sucking in too much wind, then you can't hear me talking. Media mod is if you have your external microphone hooked up, your little light up here, you know, like the max lens mod. That's going to be kind of something like that, but I don't have any of that hooked up, so we don't have to worry about that. Shortcuts. This is what shortcuts mean. So lower left, I have it set at lenses. Upper right, zoom. Upper left, slow-mo. And upper right, hyper smooth. I will show you guys what that means right now. Oh my god, I don't like this GoPro thing at all. I don't like how you automatically have to set all of the date and time yourself. I just did some random thing. Okay, so these would be like the 4 little shortcuts here, so you would just click on it. Those would be the 4 little shortcuts. Oh, I'll give you a minute if you guys want to copy that down. Alright, what these settings here mean. So, oh my god, I'm sorry about that. And I got a white towel behind here so you guys can see the GoPro a lot easier. Alright, so the little guy with the X out of his mouth, it's the one in the top left. That's going to be voice control. You just say, hey GoPro, start recording when you turn that on, and it will start recording whenever you want. Those 2 settings, I don't really know what they are, so don't mess with them. They're the middle 2 on the top. Orientation lock is if you want your video to be flat as possible, and you can turn the GoPro like this, and it will still be like this. Your video will still be like that, which is very nice. And that's one in the top right corner. The grid option in the bottom left is if you want a grid on your video so you can point certain things out. Don't mess with those 3 settings. You're really going to screw up the camera if you mess with those bottom 3 settings. The one on the left, you can go ahead and mess with that though, that's fine. We're going to want to go to connections. Connections are going to be your wireless connections, like your internet, your GoPro Connect device, like your iPhone or your Android. Go ahead and sign in that app on your phone, and it will connect to your GoPro. You have to manually connect it, but those are what all the connections are kind of for. And then you go ahead and sign in on Wi-Fi too. Give me a minute to kind of loosen my back up and kind of get my mouth back to normal. Oh god, I've been talking for what, 20 something minutes, 28 minutes straight. Wow. General is going to have your your beep volume. I leave that on high. Quick capture on. Default presets, last used video. You don't really want to mess with that. Auto power off. All of this you really don't want to mess with. So you really don't want to mess with any of that. Oh, come on. All that stuff, just leave that alone. I don't recommend messing with that. Voice control, that's kind of also how you activate voice control if you don't have that little option in the corner, because some do, some don't. Display is what you want your front screen to display or your back screen. I personally just don't go in there at all. Regional, oh my god. Regional means just your language stuff, which is that one there with the little earth. Mods, same thing, but the mods and oh my god. Like the mods in the protein settings. About, don't mess with that. And regularity, I don't know what that says, but don't mess with that either. But important thing, reset. It's at the bottom of the GoPro settings. And when you swipe down from the top and swipe to the right, you're gonna see it. Format SD card. Every time you go and take a video, save all of your information, like all of your videos, to your computer and then format your SD card. This is a must do. If you do not do it, your camera, like your SDC, like, oh my god, your SD card will look really, and I'll say it 10 times over, really bad. Don't mess with any of those settings. Those are just reset it to factory. But I'm gonna go ahead and I guess, oh my god, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video, and I can give you guys a clip of it snowing outside with the GoPro Hero 9. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video so far, and I'll put the clip right now.